there. Today I wish to take you to two of the largest tea plantations in the Maskeliya Planting districts of Sri Lanka. I had to combine my visits to Strathspey group Upcot and Brunswick group Maskeliya, both two of the largest tea plantations in the Maskeliya district. Though I was able to see a great deal on Strathspey tea factory, I could not do much on Brunswick due to some administrative difficulties. Before taking this journey to this remote area, I had to look for a place to put up for the night as there were no suitable hotels or guest houses available in the Maskeliya area. Having checked up for a guest house close to some of the tea plantations, I could not find one to my liking. Finally, a good planter friend of my brother volunteered to help us stay the night in his estate bungalow. We thought we would not find a better and convenient place than this and decided to accept his offer. I wish to share something about the good Samaritan who gave me a helping hand. Mr. Yasit Hettiarachchi, who was in charge of Battlegala Estate Dikoya at the time, is an energetic and enthusiastic planter who has gained outstanding knowledge of running tea plantation at a relatively young age. I was surprised to see him come out with a load of information about old and new tea estate anecdotes packed with hilarious and interesting experiences he has had in his planting career. He appeared to me as a straight-talking planter and does his best to work under any sort of pressure to make all-round improvements in his area of responsibility. I wish more planters of his caliber come into the industry and help it resurrect to its past glory. I am certain Yasit must have taken up a much bigger charge by now due to his outstanding knowledge of tea industry, dedication and sheer hard work. On the following day, after a night at Battlegala, we set out towards Maskeliya, trying to reach our first destination, Strathspey. Passing Norwood Group, we took the road towards Upcot, a road with never-ending hairpin bends and curves. It is a steep climb from Norwood, and after passing a narrow gap, we suddenly came to another vast area completely separated from the Norwood Bahuntalawa range. This area comes within the Upcot Maskeliya range, a mass of greens with no uncultivated land anywhere to be seen. On travelling further towards Upcot, the only concern I had was the horrible state of the road, which had numerous potholes and broken drains and culverts throughout our journey, taking our vehicle at snail speed. Again, I felt sorry for the people who were compelled to use these roads for their day-to-day activities, including school children who have to undergo an uphill task travelling on a daily basis. Ironically, we still call tea plantations to be the backbone of the country's economy. Before going to Upcot town, we turned right to pass a bridge from where we quickly reached Strathspey group, consisting of a collection of divisions: Cleveland, Omidale, Strathspey, Annandale, Minna and Ladbroke. We had little trouble in finding the factory, which appeared from nowhere after a long and monotonous ride through the jungles of Upcot. On reaching the factory, we were welcomed by the factory officer Mr. Sindhil Kumar, a young and quite enthusiastic individual who took much trouble to give a good account of the factory's achievements. The factory was built in 1927 and carries out orthodox prototype type of manufacture. It has been fully developed to meet current challenges and largely succeeded, obtaining some of the best prices in the Maskeliya Planting district. Under the able management of Mr. Shivali Mudanayak, at a healthy elevation of 1402 meters above sea level, the estate receives even rainfall throughout the year, contributing towards higher yield per hectare and better sale averages under the high-grown western category. The factory officer felt pride in showing me the various awards the factory had received over the years. Among them were ETP, Switch Asia 2012, Fair Trade and ISO 22000. The tea tasting room was a well-designed, equipped and beautiful place which looked like a showcase of the entire factory. The factory surroundings have been beautifully maintained with flower plants and hedges to add a homely atmosphere. We did not have a chance to visit Upcot as the estate lies about 2.5 kilometers away from the town on the Maskeliya Road. The nearest railway station for Strathspey is at Hatton, about 23 kilometers away. Though I could not visit the manager's bungalow, one interesting feature I was told is that the building was designed by a famous architect of yesteryear, Mr. Bevis Baba, and built in 1959. Upcot and Maskeliya districts have a very unpredictable weather pattern, and my plan was to finish off my trip before any rain could interrupt my program. So we left Strathspey in a hurry to reach our next destination a few miles away. My next visit was to the famous Brunswick factory. I would say it was famous. I was aware there was a factory officer by the name of Mr. Hanan, who was the third in a generation of factory officers to serve Brunswick factory, starting from his grandfather somewhere in early 1900s. It would have become the fourth generation of Hanans. Maybe that would have been something for the Guinness Book of World Records had his son too took up a similar position here at Brunswick. Instead, he served on Laksapana and later in a factory in Bugavantalawa, where sadly he died under tragic circumstances. According to the oldest copy of Ferguson's directory I was able to look at, and as per a plaque displayed at the factory, the first planters to cultivate the estate were Mr. A.E. Wright, that's spelled W-R-I-G-H-T, in 1895 and Mr. L.A. Wright 1899, but the exact relationship could not be verified. The estates Brunswick together with Bloomfield belonged to Upper Maskeliya Estates Company Limited with the agents Whitall and Co. In the 1890s, their total extent was 518 acres with 446 acres under T. The divisions are Bloomfield, Caskiban, Danota, Nottingham, Emelina and Queensland. The group manager at the time of my visit was Mr. Nalaka Vitanage, who facilitated for my visit to the factory. Presently, Brunswick Group comes under Maskeliya Plantation. The founder of Brunswick was Mr. A. Wright, 1895, and the present Brunswick factory was built in 1911 during the period of his son, Mr. L. A. Wright. Interestingly, Mr. A. E. Wright's daughter, Miss B. E. C. Wright, had laid the foundation for this building. A serene stream runs below the factory, adding to the natural atmosphere of the estate. Brunswick is located about 4 kilometers from Maskeliya town and approximately 23 kilometers from the nearest railway station, that is Hatton. Any tea plantation which is that far from a railway station is considered remote, since most of the teas in the early tea period were transported to Colombo by rail. The factory officer, Mr. S.D. Yogeswaran, showed me around what I wanted to see. Brunswick factory has been awarded with some unusual awards which I did not notice in other factories. In 2009 and 2010, the factory was awarded the most number of top prizes under the Western High-Grown category. In 2011, it received a special award for manufacturing 1 million kilos of tea during the year. These awards were made by the estate's brokers in Colombo, Hobbs and Walkers Limited, and naturally Mr. Yogeswaran was proud of these achievements made by the factory. Much credit goes to his predecessors as well. When we were coming out from the factory premises, a typical tea estate scene greeted us. A number of tea pickers were gathering on the roadside with their harvest for weighing. To me, any form of human activity at a tea garden is something worth looking at. The pluckers, as usual, never fail to show their smiling faces despite the strenuous labor they have to put up with. Having completed my somewhat strenuous trips to 2 of the factories I had planned, I felt exhausted and soon returned for a good rest. Thank you for watching and see you in my next episode.